Hey everybody, it's John Pollock here along with Jimmy Korderas, and coming up this Sunday from Daytona Beach, Florida at the Ocean Center, it's their annual Bound for Glory event, which they have positioned as their major show of the year. And this one, Jimmy, they're going to be crowning a new TNA champion. It's Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, and Mr. Anderson for the vacant title.
Well, as we know, if Kurt Angle loses, he states he will retire. So my feeling in this match is I think that Jeff Hardy is the one that's going to go over in this match, because I look at it this way. I think he's going to defeat Mr. Anderson. That way, Kurt Angle has an excuse for not retiring.
And then you have a rematch coming out of that. How have you thought about this whole tournament in place after RVT vacated the gold? Bit of overbooking, I thought, at the last pay-per-view with Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy, which ultimately ended up with this three-way match.
Right, and it spilled over into Impact. I think that's one of the little problems that TNA does, is it seems like they're booking their pay-per-views to build their television show instead of it being the other way around.
Now, speaking of Rob Van Dam, he's returning on this pay-per-view, taking on Abyss. Originally, this was going to be pitched as being a mask versus career match, but we're just getting a straight-up match between these two. RVD's first match back since the injury angle.
I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I kind of like it, because TNA tends to sometimes put too many gimmick matches into pay-per-views, and I like the fact that this is just a straight-up match. Let them build, their feud to other matches down the road.
A singles match, just straight up, is a novelty in itself sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Moving on, we got the Lethal Lockdown match. It's going to be EV 2.0 taking on Fortune. I've kind of enjoyed this, especially Fortune kind of being positioned as the heel group here, and I could see this somewhat being the blow-off to EV2 and moving on after that.
Right. There's really not much they can do after this feud, this particular match in the feud, but I like the promo work that's been done leading up to the feud, and obviously EV 2.0 are no strangers to cages and weapons, so it should be very interesting.
Yeah, and you mentioned the mic work there. Mick Foley and Ric Flair had that tremendous promo on Impact building up to the TV match. Do you think that could have been put on the pay-per-view, or at this stage in the game is it best served to have those two wrestle for free on TV and build to something else at the pay-per-view?
Again, TNA putting stuff on free television, like you said, that should be on pay-per-view. Again, to me that's backwards booking. This match should be safe for a pay-per-view. You've got two legends of the ring. Ric Flair, Mick Foley, these guys, and people know the history between these two, the legit history and the heat between these two. Save it for the pay-per-view. I don't get it.
That's what I thought after that money promo on Impact. Moving on, the tag titles are also going to be defended on the show. The Motor City Machine Guns taking on Generation Me. These four fail to ever disappoint on pay-per-view, and I think in this kind of setting, you can expect this to likely be match of the night.
I'm sure it will be. Again, these two teams actually, they mesh so well. The only thing is, they need, in my opinion, this is again personal opinion, I think they need to slow things down. I think everything they do is so quick and so fast, and they don't let the fans absorb what they do. It's almost like spot after spot after spot. They need to just take it down a notch and progress and build to your match. But yeah, it should be match of the night.
And finally, in what I don't think is going to be match of the night, Angelina Love defends the TNA Knockouts Championship in a four-way against Velvet Sky, Madison Rayne, and Tara.
Well, the TNA Knockouts division has gone downhill in the last year or so, and hopefully the ladies can pull off a decent match. But again, with the Knockouts, they seem to be overbooking them more than any other talent on the TNA roster. The Knockouts division is just, for me, in shambles right now.
Our four-ways tend to be a headache to officiate being in the middle of?
Actually, they're technically easier to officiate, because some of the rules that are incorporated in a one-on-one match don't apply in a four-way. I mean, there's no count-outs, there's no really disqualifications, because how do you disqualify one person out of a four-way match? So they're technically kind of easier. It's actually harder on the talent in the ring to pull off a four-way match.
Which is not promising heading into that match. It's TNA's Bound for Glory coming up this Sunday from Daytona Beach, Florida, live on pay-per-view.